The tattoo wasn't supposed to exist anywhere else. Jonah had designed it himself. On a quiet night in their Lahaina apartment, pen gliding over tracing paper. Inspired by the lines of Lina's spine as she slept beside him. A fusion of traditional Polynesian patterns and modern minimalism. It curled delicately from shoulder to mid-back, symbolizing resilience and rebirth. It was never posted online, never offered to another client. It was hers, only hers. So when he saw it again, on a complete stranger, his world stopped. It was just past 7 p.m., the light low and golden. The air thick with salt and music drifting from a beachfront bar. Jonah had just locked up his shop, a small but respected studio tucked behind a banyan tree near Front Street. He took the long way home, walking barefoot along the path skirting the shore, the sand cool beneath his feet. That's when he saw her. A young woman, maybe mid-20s, blonde hair damp from the ocean, wearing a sarong knotted high above her waist. She was laughing nervously with two men, both older, both sharply dressed, both watching her a little too closely. And on her back, exposed just enough by the tilt of her wrap, was the tattoo. Jonah froze. It wasn't a copy, it wasn't similar, it was exact. Every line, every curve, even the subtle asymmetry he'd intentionally included so it felt more organic. He stepped closer, trying not to stare. The girl turned her head slightly, just enough for Jonah to see her profile. She wasn't Hawaiian, her accent was foreign when she spoke. And her laughter, it didn't reach her eyes. He didn't approach. Something about the way she moved, guarded, cautious, warned him to stay back. But the tattoo, that tattoo. He walked home slower than usual, heart pounding. Lina was already there, sitting cross-legged on the lanai, sipping red wine and scrolling through her tablet. She looked up and smiled. Long day? Jonah nodded. A weird one. She tilted her head. Something happened. He hesitated. Just ran into someone I thought I recognized. Here in Lahaina. Must have been a tourist. Maybe. She stood, came over, kissed his cheek. You smell like ink and seawater. He laughed softly, but his mind was still back on the beach. That night, he barely slept. The image of the tattoo looped in his mind. Every line he'd drawn, every promise they'd made the day he inked it onto Lina's skin. She'd cried, said it felt like she was reclaiming her body. She'd said it was sacred. He believed her. So how did someone else end up wearing it? The next day, he returned to the beach, walked the stretch at the same hour, hoping to see the girl again. She wasn't there. Neither were the men. He checked the hotels nearby, pretended to be scouting for a mural commission. Nothing. By the third evening, he considered letting it go. Until he saw her again, this time alone. She was sitting on a bench, facing the water, clutching her phone like it was a lifeline. Her eyes darted, her foot tapped fast against the sand. Jonah sat down on the opposite end of the bench. Hey, she turned, startled. Sorry, he said quickly, I think I've seen you before. Her voice cracked slightly. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. He gestured gently toward her back. Your tattoo. It's beautiful. Did you get it here? She froze. Why? No reason. I'm a tattoo artist. It looked familiar, that's all. She looked away. I don't want to talk about it. He nodded, letting silence settle. After a long pause, she whispered, I didn't ask for it. His chest tightened. She stood quickly. Don't follow me. I won't. She walked off, fast, blending into the early evening crowd. Jonah sat there a long time, staring at the waves. That wasn't a design someone could steal from an image. That was transferred, duplicated, and if she didn't ask for it, then someone had given it to her. Someone who had access to the original design. Someone like Lina. He walked home slowly, every step heavier. When he entered the apartment, Lina was cooking. The scent of garlic and butter filled the air. She hummed along with the radio. Hey babe, she said cheerfully. You okay? Jonah looked at her, really looked. Her skin, her eyes, the tattoo he gave her, hidden beneath her tank top. He forced a smile. Just tired. He kissed her cheek and excused himself to shower. Under the spray, He let the water pound against the back of his neck. He wasn't tired. He was awake now, wide awake, and the woman sleeping next to him each night might not be the woman he thought she was. Jonah started with the obvious. He couldn't ask Lena outright. Not yet. He needed to be sure. So he began watching, quietly, carefully. Her routine was simple, supposedly. Morning yoga, a smoothie, occasional errands downtown, browsing shops, visiting the florist. But sometimes, just sometimes, she didn't come home when she said she would. An extra hour here, a late text there. One evening, she said she was going to meet a friend for drinks. Jonah followed her from a distance, heart pounding like it hadn't since he was a teenager. She didn't go to the bar she said she would. She went to a gated condo unit on the far side of Lahaina. She buzzed herself in. He waited, for 2 hours. When she left, her hair was down, her dress looked slightly rumpled. She walked like someone who wasn't in a rush, because no one was expecting her. Jonah took photos from across the street. License plates, building numbers. The next morning, while Lena slept in, he checked her laptop. He knew her password. He told himself it was justified. The browser history was clean, too clean. But the bookmarks told a story. Encrypted file lockers, anonymous payment platforms, burner email accounts, and then, a name, Mackay Wellness and Retreat Services. The website was beautifully designed. Tropical, gentle, massage, wellness, companionship, discreet, premium clients only. He clicked through slowly. There were no photos of employees. Just philosophy, testimonials, and a booking form with rates in the thousands. He copied everything. Later that day, he returned to the beach and waited. It took 2 days, but she came back, the girl with his tattoo. This time, she wasn't alone. She saw him first. "You again," she whispered, barely audible. "Why are you following me?" "I need to talk to you," Jonah said. "Please." She looked around, her jaw clenched. Then she nodded toward a quiet corner of the beach. They sat in the shade of a rental hut. "I'm not here to hurt you," he said. "I just need to understand. That tattoo, I made it. It was for my wife." She looked down. Her hands trembled. "I didn't want it," she said. "She said it was branding. Said it meant I was under her protection." Jonah's blood turned cold. "She? Lena, that's her name, right?" He nodded slowly. "She said if I left, someone would come after me. That she was keeping me safe from worse people." Jonah's throat was dry. "Were there others?" She nodded. "At least 10. We all had tattoos. Variations of yours, I guess. Some had hers." He felt like vomiting. Can I ask your name?" She hesitated. "It's not the one on my passport. But you can call me Harper." "Harper, do you want to get out?" "I've been trying," she said, "but it's complicated. They have cameras. Lena isn't the top. She's just higher than most." Jonah stared at the ocean. "Do you trust me?" Harper hesitated. "I don't trust anyone, but you looked shocked." "Most people don't look shocked anymore." He wrote down his number. "A burner phone. If you ever feel safe enough, call me. I want to help." She nodded, then left. That night, Jonah didn't sleep. He started digging deep. He mapped every location Lena had visited in the last 6 months. Tracked payment trails. Found 2 more shell companies linked to her email. He cross-referenced photos from her phone backup. Found multiple images of women, always blurred faces. Always taken in what looked like upscale rentals. Always some version of that same look. Distant. Dressed up. Almost posed. He downloaded everything. Stored it on an external drive. Printed backups. Labeled folders. By the 3rd night, his fingers ached. His eyes stung. But the puzzle was coming together. Lena wasn't just unfaithful. She was complicit. And possibly dangerous. He considered confronting her, telling her he knew, asking why. But instead, he scheduled a meeting with someone he never thought he'd call. An old client, now working in federal law enforcement. The email was short. "We need to talk. Not about tattoos. About something bigger." Jonah hit send. And closed his laptop with shaking hands. The agent's name was Hale. Ex-military, now with Homeland Security, Jonah remembered tattooing his sleeve 5 years ago, an eagle wrapped in storm clouds. The man hadn't flinched once during the 6-hour session. Now he sat across from Jonah in a diner in Wailuku, sipping coffee like he had all the time in the world. "You're sure about this?" Hale asked. Jonah slid the drive across the table. "I'm not sure about anything anymore, except that I can't ignore it." Hale inserted the drive into his secure laptop. His face hardened as he scrolled. "This is bigger than you know," Hale muttered. "We've had our eyes on Mackay Wellness for 2 years. But no name, no leverage. This changes everything." Jonah felt numb. "She's my wife." Hale closed the laptop. "And she's a gatekeeper, possibly a recruiter. But with this, we can move." Within 72 hours, a task force assembled. Discreet, federal, multi-agency. Jonah was briefed and then pulled from his home. Lena thought he was on a last-minute tattoo convention trip in Oahu. He kissed her forehead before he left. The agents wired him for one final meet. Jonah arranged to see Lena at the seaside rental she managed. She was prepping for a VIP session. No names. Always cash. She wore white linen and that effortless glow that used to make him believe in forever. She opened the door, smiling. "Thought you were gone till Tuesday." Jonah stepped in, voice steady. "Wanted to surprise you." She poured wine, talked about their future. He nodded, played along, while agents listened from 2 floors down. When she went to the back room to take a call, he excused himself, stepped outside, and texted one word, "Now." What followed happened fast. The takedown team moved like a shadow. Silent entry, no alarms. 2 arrests, one woman crying in the bathroom, another trying to climb out a window. Lena froze mid-call. Jonah stood by as she was cuffed. Her eyes locked on his. "You set me up," she whispered. "No," he said. "You did that yourself." She didn't struggle, didn't cry, just turned her head as they led her out. Jonah was escorted separately. The media never caught wind. The operation stretched across 3 more islands and 2 mainland states. 28 women rescued, 12 arrests, 4 international warrants issued. And Jonah, once just a tattoo artist, was now listed as an unnamed federal witness. Relocated, new identity. He left behind the shop, the beach, the life he built with ink and faith. The last time he saw Lena was in a courtroom, behind glass. She didn't look at him. She pled guilty, sentenced to 25 years. Afterward, Hale met him one final time. "You did good," he said. Jonah just nodded. "I still don't know who she really was. Maybe no one does." He moved inland, to a place where the ocean couldn't reach him. Set up a new studio under a different name. No portraits, no back tattoos. And never, never, another design meant for love. He learned to live in silence. To work with his head down. Sometimes, Harper called. She was safe now, studying, healing. She never asked for details. She just said, "Thank you," and Jonah, for once, didn't say anything back. There was nothing left to say. Only a memory branded deep inside him. One he'd never ink again. His name wasn't Jonah anymore. He'd chosen a quiet name. One without weight or history. Something that would pass at the DMV. At the bank, when signing a lease. It didn't matter what it was. Only that it wasn't what she once whispered after midnight. The town he lived in now was gray. Landlocked. The kind of place where nobody asked questions if you didn't ask them first. He opened a small tattoo studio near the train station. Nothing fancy. Clean lines. Pale walls. A single potted fern. He named it Ink Quiet. The only rule on the front door: no portraits. No faces. He specialized in minimalist work, tiny constellations. Knife-thin trees. Letters no taller than a thumbnail. People liked the precision. They liked how quiet he was. They said he had gentle hands. He never spoke about Hawaii. Never said the word Lahaina. He kept a photo in a drawer. Face down. It wasn't of Lena. It was of the ocean. A horizon swallowed in orange fire. When clients asked why he didn't do faces, he smiled without humor. Because faces change. There were nights he dreamed of her. Not the woman in handcuffs. The other one, the one who laughed with wine in her hand. Who danced barefoot to no music. Who told him he made her feel real. He didn't trust those memories anymore. They felt staged, scripted, performed. But they still hurt. He was safe now. On paper, he didn't exist. The government had erased Jonah. What remained was a man who knew how to build a life out of lines and silence. Sometimes Harper texted. Brief messages. Updates. She had changed her name too. She was teaching art classes now. Working with survivors. She never asked where he was. She just wrote things like, I planted jasmine today. Thought you'd like that. Do you still draw? Hope you're breathing. And he always replied, still breathing. Once, she asked, do you hate her? He stared at the screen a long time. Then wrote, no, just the part of me that believed her. He deleted it. Didn't send anything. Some truths were too sharp to release. On the 1-year anniversary of the arrest, he closed the shop early and drove 2 hours to a lake that reminded him of home. He sat on the shore until dusk. Sketched the water, not to remember, but to forget. When a woman passed by walking her dog, she nodded politely and asked if he was new in town. He nodded. Just passing through, he said, but he wasn't. He was staying, rooting, quietly becoming someone else. And if someday someone asked him if he had ever been in love, he might say, yes, but I mistook a tattoo for a promise. Then he'd return to his work. Unseen, unnamed, a man who once had a name, but no longer needed it. Jonah vanished into silence. But not all betrayals stay in the dark. Some explode, live, viral, and irreversible. In Waikiki, a cheerful TikTok dance video went viral. But behind the smiling faces and synchronized moves was a husband with 2 lives, and one wife who didn't know the camera was rolling. What happened next didn't just break a marriage. It shattered a woman, in front of the entire world. Next, uncover the devastating truth behind a digital betrayal in the story of Alana from Waikiki. A TikTok dance revealed her husband's double life.